Jurgen Klopp's departure at the end of the season means that one of the most high-profile, highly coveted and eagerly sought-after jobs in world football has become available. The office of Liverpool manager. In terms of status within the game, in terms of stature within the game, very few jobs come close. And therefore, lots of managers are going to be desperate to even be considered for this role. What I thought we could do on this video is analyse some of the front runners to become the next Liverpool manager. Now, before we get into it, will you please do me a favour? If you've enjoyed this video, please click that subscribe button. It really does help me out, and I would love to welcome you into this community. So just click that subscribe button right now, and we're going to get into it. Now, as with all things football, there is obviously going to be a lot of noise when it comes to who will be the next Liverpool manager. Lots of people are linked. A lot of people have been speculated about already. And when you look at what the bookies are doing, they have got about 8 managers who are in contention. So I thought we could have a chat about all 8. We will start with Jose Mourinho. Now, Jose Mourinho is only 25-1. Look, in my opinion, this won't happen. There is absolutely no way that Liverpool will consider appointing Jose Mourinho. He would most certainly want it. There is no doubt in my mind about that. Jose Mourinho would be desperate to get the Liverpool job, but surely it won't happen. He has a little bit of antipathy with Liverpool fans, as demonstrated in the 2005 League Cup final in Cardiff. And I think most Liverpool fans would be of the persuasion that Jose Mourinho's best days are behind him. He would most certainly want the job though, but I don't think the feeling will be mutual. Jose Mourinho, although he would fancy it, although he's in contention, although he's only 25-1, he will not be the next Liverpool manager. Okay, next up, and even more of an outsider than Jose Mourinho, is Thomas Tuchel. Now, there is a huge grey area when it comes to the Venn diagram of both Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel. From Mainz to Dortmund to going abroad to winning a Champions League, there is a distinct overlap between these two managers. Now, Tuchel did win the league at Paris Saint-Germain. He won the Champions League at Chelsea, but things are not going well for him currently at Bayern Munich. Now, Tuchel could seriously be considered. He's got vast experience of managing big clubs. He's also adept at dealing with big egos. I think he is somebody that could be considered for this job. The problem is that his team currently is struggling. They are second in the Bundesliga, and yes, they've done well in the Champions League. They went through top of their group, but I'm just not sure that he is the right man. Equally, when you think about Thomas Tuchel in the transfer market, it isn't particularly inspiring. And when you think about Thomas Tuchel in cup finals, it is woeful, as Liverpool know all too well. I think he'll be considered. I think he is somebody who will make the shortlist. I think there is potential that he could be a candidate. But ultimately, I can't see Thomas Tuchel being the Liverpool manager. No way. To be totally frank with you, I don't even want to mention this one because it is impossible. It would be the most uninspiring appointment that Liverpool could make since Roy Hodgson. But the standout English manager at the moment is Eddie Howe. And therefore, there is a conversation at least to be had. Should Eddie Howe be considered for the Liverpool manager? The answer is no, but let's just try and play devil's advocate with it. He took Bournemouth from League 2 to the Premier League. He got Newcastle into the Champions League in his first season. But no, just no. Similarly ludicrous, but out of work and therefore possibly a contender is Graham Potter. So Graham Potter obviously needs a Premier League job. He would be looking at the Liverpool job and dreaming. This is the job that he would hope for. This is the job that he is living for. This is the job that he is desperate for. And this is the job that he will believe will get his managerial career back on track. However, there is absolutely no way that anyone can even try and convince me that Graham Potter is the right man to succeed Jurgen Klopp. He couldn't cope at Chelsea. He made a pig's ear of the job at Chelsea. So many mistakes were made by Graham Potter at Chelsea. He couldn't cope with the scrutiny. He couldn't cope with the pressure. He couldn't cope with the fans. And he couldn't cope with that elevated level of expectation. For Graham Potter to ever be considered for a top-tier job again, like Liverpool, he will have to demonstrate an aptitude for management again at a mid-level Premier League team. If any mid-level Premier League teams would consider taking the risk on him after the woeful display at Chelsea. Steven Gerrard is only 12-1. Now look, there was a time not that long ago where Steven Gerrard was seen as the heir to the throne that was inhabited by Jurgen Klopp at the time. Steven Gerrard was doing wonderful things in Scotland. The way that his Glasgow Rangers team played was inspiring those, not only at Ibrox, but also at Anfield. But his crown has massively slipped since then. The period at Aston Villa was a disaster. And Villa fans, when you look at the trajectory of the club now, they talk about Steven Gerrard as if he is one of their worst ever managers. I don't believe that to be true, but they really are hostile to him. And the fact that he is currently not exactly ripping up trees out in Saudi Arabia would suggest that surely Steven Gerrard cannot even be considered for this job. The only reason to give it to him, and don't get me wrong, you know how I approach football. You know where I see it when it comes to the feelings around football, the emotion around football. But the only reason to appoint Steven Gerrard would be from the heart. A decision made from the heart rather than from the head. There's a place for that in football, but maybe not at boardroom level. If fans wanted Gerrard, I could just about understand it. But surely FSG won't go emotional on it, will they? I love the idea of this. There is a chance that Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool could have huge ramifications to Tottenham Hotspur. Wouldn't that be fantastic? There is genuinely a world where Liverpool could want to talk to Ange Postecoglou about following on from Jurgen Klopp. When you think of the transformative impact that Postecoglou has had on Tottenham since he arrived from Celtic, it is understandable why a club like Liverpool, a prestigious club like Liverpool, will be looking at what Postecoglou is doing. Postecoglou plays the game in a way that will be in keeping with the Liverpool traditions. I think the way that he conducts himself will be appreciated on Merseyside. The way that he speaks about the game, the way that he speaks about the world, the way that he speaks about people and his appreciation of society will certainly go down well on Merseyside. There is a world where Postecoglou could be the right man. The only reason why I feel like it may not happen is it's a year too early. If Postecoglou maybe got Tottenham into the Champions League already, maybe had won a trophy there, I think Liverpool would really be considering this. But Tottenham fans who are shuddering at the prospect of losing their manager to Liverpool, I think that the fortune could be on your side. It's a year early. The other reason why I don't necessarily think it would happen is partly because of all of the attributes that I just mentioned with regard to Postecoglou and why he would be so appreciated at Anfield. He seems like a good bloke. He seems like a loyal man. He seems like the type of fellow who isn't going to simply jump ship because one of the biggest jobs in the world has come along. However, it is one of the biggest jobs in the world and it's difficult to turn down that opportunity. It may never come along again. But the man that Postecoglou is, and certainly the man that he presents himself as, he will demonstrate an element of loyalty. And therefore, Tottenham fans will have a reason to love him even more. Not only has he got this Tottenham team playing exactly the way that the Tottenham fans have always dreamed, not only has he had to deal with a post-Harry Kane Tottenham Hotspur, but I have a feeling that he will totally discount himself, even if he were to be considered. Yeah, Tottenham got themselves a good manager. Now, this one makes complete sense to me. If I were a betting man, this is what I would be suggesting. Roberto Di Matteo to Liverpool. Roberto Di Matteo to follow in the footsteps of Jurgen Klopp. It feels written to me. It feels like a very natural passing of the baton, a natural trajectory of Di Matteo's career. He is a remarkable manager, a fantastic man manager. Look at the way that he improves individuals, and you can really acknowledge quite how good he is. He also has a team playing some of the most electrifying football in the Premier League. He is at Brighton. It is really important to acknowledge that he is at Brighton. Brighton, they are a team who don't really belong in the Premier League. He has done so well to not only make them an established Premier League team, but a team who are capable of playing the best football in the league and qualifying for the Champions League. De Zerbi is undoubtedly, pound for pound, one of the best managers in the league. He is clearly just waiting for that perfect opportunity to test himself at a big club. He has already done the business in Italy and at Shakhtar, but I think he is waiting like a coiled spring, ready to pounce on that perfect opportunity, that big job, that prestigious job, that job that cannot be turned down. If De Zerbi was offered the Liverpool job, of course he takes it. And nobody associated with Brighton could even dream of suggesting that he shouldn't. I think this could be a really astute move from FSG. The only reason why perhaps you wouldn't go with De Zerbi, is there anything to be learned? Can we glean anything from what happened? Graham Potter, lots of plaudits at Brighton, took his staff with him to Chelsea and will go down as one of Chelsea's worst ever appointments of the Premier League era. Can Liverpool learn anything from that? Is there a lesson there? Is there a parable there? Or are they totally different? Both individuals and there isn't really anything to compare. I think De Zerbi is capable. I think he's ready for that big job. And this would be a really interesting appointment for Liverpool. And now to discuss the front runner. The front runner is obviously Zvje Alonzo, a manager who is doing incredible things in Germany, but also occupies some of the territory that I was talking about with regard to Steven Gerrard. Zvje Alonzo knows Liverpool. He knows the culture of the club. He knows what the club represent. In the way that I was saying, sometimes an emotional attachment is relevant. Sometimes an emotional appointment is relevant. Steven Gerrard doesn't have the managerial track record. In fact, it went so wrong for him at Aston Villa. Zvje Alonzo has the connection. Okay, he's not a Scouser, but he knows what it means to play for Liverpool. He knows what it means to live in Liverpool. And he has the track record. His work in Germany currently is dazzlingly good. His Leverkusen team, who don't have anything like the money that Bayern Munich have, are capable of stopping Bayern Munich winning the league. Zvje Alonzo can stop Thomas Tuchel and Harry Kane winning the league. There is a genuine chance that he can do it. And when you think about the riches of Bayern Munich, when you think about what Bayern Munich are and what they represent and the signings that they have made, what Alonso is doing at a fraction of the budget, he is capable of stopping Germany's biggest club winning the league. Not only that, but they are a really happy club at the moment and they are playing some of the most beautiful football that is seen in Germany. They are knocking it about fantastically well and the team looks so happy. They are all completely playing for the manager and everything that Zvje Alonzo has done since he landed in Germany has worked. There is an argument to suggest that it could be a touch too early for Zvje Alonzo. He isn't particularly experienced in management yet, but ultimately there is an element of risk to any managerial appointment. There is always a reason to say that it isn't the correct appointment. And when you look at this list, for me, De Zerbi, simply because of the Premier League pedigree. He has proven that he can do it in the Premier League. But Zvje Alonzo makes an awful lot of sense as well. And I imagine that if you asked most Scousers, most Liverpool fans, they would say Zvje Alonzo is the answer. So there we have it. I think we've covered everyone, from the sublime to the ridiculous. I think surely we have named in this list the next Liverpool manager. Let me know in the comments below, who do you think will be the next Liverpool manager? Who do you think it should be? And as always, please give this video a like if you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comments section below. Make sure you click subscribe and I'll see you in a bit.